Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simon Wright. I'm the Director of Programming here at Japan House London. In the programming team, we look after the exhibitions and the events here in this space. And welcome to today's presentation. In conjunction with the opening of the exhibition, The Craft of Carpentry, Drawing Life from Japan's Forests, open until the 6th of July this year, we're delighted to welcome Nishiyama Marcelo, the exhibition curator from the Takenaka Carpentry Tools Museum in Kobe in Hyogo Prefecture. During this presentation, he will explore how Japan's craftspeople have been shaping their social environment since ancient times. He explains how the precision of Japanese carpentry is deeply rooted in a respect for nature, expressed through highly refined techniques and tools, while highlighting key displays of the exhibition that you can see here at Japan House London. In addition to our audience here at Japan House London, we're also broadcasting to a virtual audience on Zoom, so welcome to everyone who is joining us online. The event is also being recorded, and a recording will be archived on our YouTube channel following the event. So Nishiyama Marcelo is a curator specializing in architectural history and design at the Takenaka Tools Museum. He has curated an array of exhibitions based on research in the field of building technology. His work covers a wide range of subjects, including carpentry and tools, blade making, and the art of sakan, which is Japanese plasterwork, as well as modern building techniques such as cross-laminated timber. He has recently curated museums at the Manga Museum in Poland and the Maison de la Culture du Japon in Paris, in France. Will you please join me in welcoming Nishiyama Marcelo?
Welcome, and I'm very glad, happy to be here. And let's start. Okay. Japanese carpentry tools are first known for their wide variety. It's not because we are the geeks that we prepare tools to suit slightly different purposes. The number is 179 pieces for one set per one carpenters. All the tools should be prepared for immediate use at any time. The sharpened blade. Perfected for shavings as thin as 1 per 100 millimeters. And play the rules of the passing on the life of the tree to the next generation. There is one key to understanding why they are so sharp line in the wood. It is known that the coniferous trees have a high oil content, and cypress has the highest oil content among the other wood, making it difficult for it to absorb the paint. It is known that among the Buddhist temples introduced from the continent, some walls are painted in bright colors when they are more first built, such as the Tosho Daiji temples. In China and Korea, the damaged paint would be repainted, but in Japan, the wood was left as it. Cypress continues to breathe even after it has been made it into a pure. This breathing is not stopped by a coating of paint, and the sharp blades are used to cut the fibers, allowing the oily cypress to repel water. The surface was carefully finished to a shiny finish with paint, not only for beauty, but also for durability. This exhibition introduces the skill and the spirit of the carpenters who bring the forth life from the forest. What exactly a Japanese forest? And all forests is the same. So let's start to think about the difference. This is a map showing the forest areas of the world. When we mark the area with the same latitude as Japan, we can see that only Japan have rich green belt across the same zone. The ocean currents around the island nation of Japan create a unique forest environment, resulting in Japan's forests having one of the widest ranges of the vegetation in the world. The trees chosen by the carpenters for construction in Japan were the cypress and cedar coniferous trees. In Japan, where there is a lot of rain, these trees grow quickly and straight and are soft and durable, making them easy to work with, making them essential for Japanese architectures. And some trees are up to several thousand years old. The oldest wooden building in the world, made from this 1,000 years old cypress, is Horyuji Temple. Japanese people have a very broad idea of the existence of God. We have a unique religious view that holds that every phenomenon in the universe has its own God. This is called Yaoyorozu no Kami, means 8 million gods. Natural phenomena such as the sun, moon, and stars in the sky, as well as wind and lightning, land such as mountains, rivers, and rice fields. The origin of the Japanese religions is animism. Primitive belief in the belief that all natural objects have spirit and that they fear and worship these spirits. Therefore, when a child is born, when the child is born, they pray at a Shinto shrine, have a wedding ceremony at a Christian church, and when they die, they are buried at the Buddhist temples. Let's learn from the words of the Tsunekazu Nishioka, a master carpenters who protect Horyuji Temple.
お像を作るのには、一つの山の木を持って一つのお像を作れっていうことをこう言うてます。ということは、木曽の木、吉野の木、四国の木というふうにも混ぜずに、四国の木ならば四国の木の一箇所の山に生えたものを持って一つの像を作れ。そういうことやと思います。建物の寿命というものは、木の自然の生きたままを使っておかんと寿命が短いということ。左に曲がり、右に曲がりするやつがありますわね。どうしよう、こう寄せて、そして押し合いするようにして、20尺なら20尺の寸法のものをパチンと剥がれるともうそこで止まってしまう。それをちゃんと組み込んであるわけです。私ども宮大工の方では、中幅以上の木は構造材に使い、そして谷の木は造作材に使い、いわゆる長石とか、もうその建具とか、あるいは板とか、そういうものに使うことを言うてますね。木のその癖を上手に組んでおく、またその木の持ちうべき場所をちゃんと考えておくっていうことは大事だと思います。もしこれが忘れられていたら、法隆寺も薬師寺も今日までなかったと思いますよ。
Master Nishioka also said, people talk about conquering natures, but that's a Western way of the thinking. In Japan, we must think that we are being kept alive by natures. Hinoki cypress is an endemic species that grows only south of Fukushima in Japan and in part of Taiwan. Cedar is also the species endemic to Japan. In Japan, 70% of its land in land areas, or 25.05 million hectares, is covered by the forest, and 41%, or 10.2 million hectares, is man-made forest. Of this, 44% is cedar and 25% is cypress, which means approximately 70% of the artificial forest and 28% of the entire country are occupied by cedar and cypress. Both cypress and cedar trees can live for thousands of years and have been used in Japan since ancient times to build important buildings. Their efforts to promote the use of wood in the construction field as a measure against global warming. However, while we are looking forward to new technological innovations, we also need to pay attention to the craftsmanship and spirit that we have cultivated over the years. Now, let's open the doors of the exhibition. Let's take a look at the world of Domiya Daiku, the shrine and temple carpenters. Here, I will introduce the actual work from design to production. Tsunekazu Nishioka took only the one apprentice, that is Master Mitsuo Ogawa, who inherited the spirit of Master Nishioka. All of the exhibits in these corners are the work of Master Nishioka and Ikaruga Kosha, led by Mitsuo Ogawa. Let's hear from Master Ogawa directly. Skills are not things which are taught and passed from person, but rather it is through the developing persons who have the ability to learn on their own that tradition is carried on. The video starts.
Temples and shrines are the basis of Japanese Buddhism and Shinto, places for followers to gather and reflect. Many such buildings are large-scale constructions with complex plans that require the expertise and knowledge of specialist temple and shrine carpenters. Originally involved in the construction of Honinji Temple's three-storied pagoda, Yakushiji Temple's main hall, and the reconstruction of Yakushiji Temple's West Pagoda, Ogawa has since gone on to design and construct numerous temples and shrines. Ogawa's reason for entrusting the construction of Hakkakudo to his young apprentices is his respect for ancient carpenters who took on the challenge of erecting structures never before attempted.
Technique and skill is something we value. However, once learned, you can't build anything more than that technique allows. For example, Todaiji Temple's Hall of the Great Buddha is 48 meters tall. No one had built anything that big before, a world first. The ancients brought all their wisdom together to challenge this task. That is the sheer determination, the energy of a creator. Nothing can be achieved with technique alone.
A universal spirit is infused into buildings constructed in this way by ancient carpenters. Temple and shrine carpenters who can read this spirit from the buildings will be able to pass on the techniques and skills as master carpenters. Master carpenter Tsunekazu Nishioka is the most highly skilled and celebrated temple and shrine carpenter of the modern age. Successive protector of the world's oldest wooden structure, Horyuji Temple, he also reconstructed Yakushiji Temple's West Pagoda and has repaired a wide range of cultural assets that includes national treasures. Ogawa is the only apprentice ever recognized by Master Carpenter Nishioka.
Some may say that the handing down of techniques is, for example, like Master Carpenter Nishioka teaching me, and then me teaching what I've learned to my apprentice. I think that is a lie. Take the carpenters who built during the Asuka period, around 1500 years ago. Their techniques haven't been handed down to us today. Master carpenters, like Nishioka, inferred what techniques and ideals ancient builders implemented when they created such a building through dialogue with the wood, while taking it apart for repairs in the 1930s.
引き継ぎとか伝統とかっていう人がいますよ。そんな嘘や。
Buildings I constructed will probably be taken apart for repairs hundreds of years from now. Someone will come along and read the structure to understand the thinking and driving force that led a 20th century carpenter to build it. That is tradition, inheritance, not something that can be taught with words.
弟子にそんなの教えたらどうのこうのなんて関係ない。
These subtle curves and how they fit into the structure require detailed drawings. That's why full-scale drawings are made, especially for the roof design. When these are converted into the 3 dimensions, in Japan, these are then copied onto the templates. It's hard to understand once it's assembled, but there are actually a huge number of the templates available. In order to repeat these curves regularly and accurately throughout the buildings, curves unique to that buildings are copied onto each component. Also on display is a structure made of the indoor halls of Yakushiji Temple, a building from a slightly later period than ancient times. Towards the end of the Heian period, a piece of wood called hanegi, it's inside the log inside, was inserted into the attic to take the direct weight of the roof and transmit it to the pillars. As a result, the structural rules of the rafters supporting the eaves and was reduced, making it possible to achieve slender, beautiful curves. Its delicate beauty is largely due to the authentic sense of the artisan. At the skier exhibitions, we introduce logs and bamboos used for the tirums and other purposes. We can see various types. Skier carpenters are craftsmen who create the beauty by leveraging in the beauty existing in the natural field. Let's focus on the single log here. Can you notice anything strange about it? Normally, the diameters of a tree would be much different from that at the base and at the tip. It is possible to find straight trees that can be used for the buildings without any processing like this. In fact, they are making adjustments to make while it is growing. Remove the branches, leaving only the tip of the branch. This is not only that keeps the tree straight and reduces the difference in the diameters, but also slows down the growth and compact the annual rings, making it strong pillars. Polish the uneven root surface by rubbing sand by hand. Stained log are logs cut during the rainy season, peeled and left in mountains to grow mold, and then polished with wax when the time is right. In this way, we are not artificially recreating processes that exist naturally in the mountains with a human intervention. Let's look at the bamboo. It is important that the bamboo is straight and of uniform thickness. But even when the bamboo is used next to each other, it is also important that the internodes are uniform. That is to say, rather than simply using natural materials as they are carefully selected and created. Now let's take a look at the skeleton model of the tea rooms. For a long time, the tea rooms was dominated by the Iemoto Seido, the system of the licensing, in which gardeners, plasterers, and joiners working under the special carpenters would develop Tosei-ryu contemporary styles using the materials provided by the specific forestry and fine lumber dealers. Even the opportunity to see a tea house is very limited. And even if you do get the chance, it is very difficult to learn the construction models methods from the finished buildings. Therefore, being able to see the skeleton like this will be a unique opportunity for those who want to study architectures. This tea house is modeled after the San, located in the Gyokurin, one of the many sub-temples of Daitokuji, a famous temple in Kyoto. San is a hermitage with 3 tatami mat board plus central wooden board built by Konoike Ryowei, a wealthy Osaka merchant in 1742 during the Mid-Edo period. This tea room was designed in the style favored by Joshinsai Sosa, the 7th generation of the Omote Senkei family. Here now, I have a question for you. Where is the entrance? Many people already know about that. The answer is this road, small entrance. It's called Nijiriguchi and was invented by Senno Rikyu. Senno Rikyus lived during the warring state of the period and a time when the relationship between the master and the servant were strong. But the entrance to the tea rooms was kept low to show that everyone was equal. No matter how high a person's state, they could not enter the tea rooms without removing their sword and bowing their head down. Let me explain a little about the building structures. Okay, once building the tea rooms, people try to carry on its spirit by faithfully and exactly recreating the original or honkas, which is called utsushi, means copy. However, it is not followed with architectural structures, and new innovations have been added over time. These are known as modern skier, and even the structure has been changed. This exhibition features a model of the modern skier style. Traditionally, one would build with a thin post placed on the base stone and tie them together with horizontal members called nuki crossbar that connects to the post. At some point, we began to insert strong materials called chikaranuki, reinforced crossbar, into the attics and under the beams to make the roof structure strong. This is chikaranuki, the red marked point. Chikaranuki connects the purlins and the girders that support the roof. The roof is completed by the hanging the rafter that supports the roof on top of the ridgepole. The structure can be completed even without a pillar to support the ridgepole. So that's what makes it possible to put in a large window there. Structurally, this ridgepole is not as necessary, but it's being added anyway. It's a dummy. It would have looked unnatural without it forms a design perspective. Therefore, we are able to create a more delicate and clean design on the inside. The charm of the ski architecture lies not only in its materials, but also in its detailed design. I will only introduce a few examples here, but I hope you will find them for yourself. There are terms for the Japanese timber frame construction, such as tsugite, splicing joint, and shiguchi, connecting joint. Simply put, they can be developed into the joint used to create a building structure and a joint used to join pieces together to form a single piece. In order to create frames, it is not just a matter of being able to join the parts together, but it is also important to ensure sufficient strength. And when we say the strength, it is also important to consider the direction and the type of force. That is, whether the force is pulling, pushing, or bending. Therefore, the type of kigumi joint that is naturally chosen is different for horizontal timbers suspended in the air and for the foundation. Also, the order in which they are assembled must be considered. Joint to make a single piece of wood are not necessary if larger pieces of the wood can be used. But its real is they are often used together. In these cases, you want to avoid showing the joint as much as possible. Makes the joint fit perfectly. We use the pieces with the same grain as much as possible. We aim to maintain almost the same strength as a single piece of wood. The process of making these wooden frames is called kizami carvings. First, the position to carve is marked by sumitsuke inking. The ink line is approximately 0.2 to 0.3 millimeters, but the cutting line is not made at the center of the line. Roughly speaking, marking is done by considering whether to leave the line completely visible, leave half of them visible, or erase them completely. If you try to assemble pieces that have been cut while leaving the lines perfectly visible, they will not fit together properly. Conversely, if you erase them completely, these will be gaps. I present Kumiko folding screen at Kumi section. Kumiko is a joinery technique that involves joining together basic triangle frames called mitsukude with inserting the patterns made from wooden blocks called Kumiko elements. So please pay attention to this part. does it begin to emerge that there is a village on the other side of the river and the mountain range with several overlapping ridge lines. Next, look closely at the same spot with your naked eyes. You can see that it is made with a completely different kumiko pattern. You will see that wood of slightly different colors has been incorporated into the kumiko elements. In other words, it uses exactly the same techniques as a painting, oil paintings. At the venues, you can see clear pictures by looking from the distance or looking through your iPhone's camera.
だから全て技術だけでやろうと思うと、まあなんか重苦しいもんになっちゃうね。大まかなものを描くだけで、あとは自分の感覚で形を決めていく。最後このまあ平面になって入ってくると、こっちからこう川の流れがちゃんと見えてくるんだよね。ここになるか。雲のこの動きっていうかね、動線をちょっと跳ね返ってたようなあれだから、山があって雲がこう流れてくる感じがちょっと不自然さがあったから抜いて、また新たにこう入れたりして。自分でも毎日山見てるし、山も絵に描いてるし、そういうあれでまああれだね、なんとなく感じたことが あるんじゃねえかと思ってるんだけどね。それとこうつながっていくもんとかでこの絵の全体のバランスの中に動きがあるんだよね。その動きをうまく出せると大きく見えるし綺麗に見える。見る人がちょっといろんなことを想像する。組子の面白さみたいな柔らかさ。葉っぱの種類書いてある。要するに少しここら辺空きを作ったのね。この山のまあ裾野のこのところと向こうの山のところのこのその空気感を出す。少し距離感というか。
It is said that Japanese woodworking techniques are characterized by the traditional precision. Some say that Japanese woodworking is the best in the world. It is due to the humanity that lies in the heart of the Japanese people. I believe that all the people are essentially the same. However, each person is placed in a different environment, and that environment nurtures them. That is why I believe that Japan was nurtured by wood, cypress, and cedar. This exhibition focuses on Japanese architectural craftsmen and attempt to introduce the skill and the spirit of the Japanese craftsmanship. I believe that this spirit is the Japanese people's reverence for nature. And now, more than ever, it is meaningful to look back on the spirit once again. I hope that we will be able to find the wisdom that transcends history. Thank you.
Very much, Nishiyama-san, for what a wonderful in-depth look into the exhibition and some behind the scenes, especially about Kumiko. For example, if you're interested in Kumiko, we have workshops every week throughout the run of the exhibition. So please do look on our website and sign up. Seats are limited, but every week for the run. Thank you very much. We have time for questions if anybody's got anything. If you do, can I ask you put your hand up and then we can get a microphone to you, and that allows people online as well to also hear. If you have a question, we have one right in the front here. Yes.
Thank you very much for this wonderful talk.
Would you speak a little bit louder, please?
I would be interested to know a bit more about the deities and how they are treated when the trees are felled.
Sorry, I couldn't get her.
Talking about kami. So could you tell us a little bit more about the process of speaking to kami when the trees are felled in the forest, when the trees are cut down?
Well, a difficult question. Because we Japanese, well, we believe that there are so many gods for every small, even in a very small things. Not just like the mountain or the natural things, but also we can find in the waters. And because it's very easy to understand. Everybody has things. Thank you for the waters, or the thank you for everything. Even in for the I remember that we had a very popular songs in Japan. thanks for the toilet god. Yes, maybe some of you knows about the song. It was very popular. So that now it's a very typical phenomenon living only in Japan. But so that I can't get any answers, comments about it. But we should receive the common sense of the God to live in Japan. Okay, so that's why even the craftsmen can get many of the profession over the many of the project, not only the shrine but also the temple. Can you imagine that? Well, if you can imagine, you can imagine. There is, for example, carpenters who do the Islamic mosque works today. Then he will go to the next construction site to build Christian church. Can you believe about that thing? So, but we are doing it. Okay, so because well, we naturally believe our own God from of the natures. The carpenters always have the thanks for the God of the mountain. Today we are using the trees. So we should keep the respectable mind, not only for the God, it's also for the material. What shall we do for that? We can do only all the things that we can do is just we can make the buildings any longer than a tree's life. This is our God. I'm sorry, but I couldn't make a clear answer for you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. If you go upstairs to the ground floor, there's a display which has been created by Nishiyama-san specifically, which talks about we have a shimboku, yes?
Yes.
A sacred tree.
Yeah.
Specially created for the exhibition here in London. Thank you. Do we have another question? Yes, we do, right in the front. If you could hold the microphone to your mouth. Thank you. If you hold it really close.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you're talking about the trees, the growth of the trees by cutting all the branches to encourage it to grow and grow high. Is that also to stop knots in the wood, or how do you treat knots? Are you looking for knot-free timber?
Free timber.
Not with a K.
I'm sorry?
A knot-free timber with a K, without knots. Am I explaining that
Timber
right?
without knots, without
Yes.
without
Is that
the.
why yeah, without the knots? Is that why you're also cutting branches, or?
Yes, of course. Well, it's a very maniac question. Okay. Well, I think you were talking about the videos which I showed you about the Kitayama Sugi, right? Because they are cutting the branches not to get the knob. Okay. Yes, it's you were right. It's one of the purpose that they are doing it, but well, to think about the knob, it's very difficult to control the surfaces. But how can I explain about it? So first of all, well, there are so many different techniques. Okay, so it's not only the common idea to explain about it, because well, it depends on the type of the trees. Now, I introduced the case of Kitayama Sugi, especially made for the tea houses. But of course, we have another techniques to grow up the big trees like a cypress or the cedar. So maybe you English people already knows about that techniques because I have seen a lot of interesting trees grown up in the park. So it looks very different from the Japanese trees because by the cutting of the branches. So I think I could say it depends on the purpose to get material or to get the beautiful view, just like a beautiful style, just like a Japanese bonsai or something like that. So I'm sorry for the two questionnaires that I can't make a very clear answer, but it's very difficult. I'm sorry, actually.
Thank you. I'm going to go for a question that we've got online, maybe easier.
Yeah, please give me a more simple question.
You've mentioned cypress and cedar, so hinoki and sugi, are widely used in Japan.
Yeah.
Would you be able to tell us more about other tree species
Other
that are used by Japanese carpenters?
Okay. Oh, yeah, you can. Well,
and what are they used for?
Useful. Well, well, useful, but the usage of the trees, I need to start to explain about the usage, even from the even from the same trees, because it's you already knows about the difference from the word of Master Nishioka, right? To get the trees from the mountain top, we can use it for the structure. But now we can use another trees grown up at valleys. We can use it for another function, just like joiner's work, to build to make window frames or the doors or any other functions, right? Or we also need to think about the conditions of the part of the buildings. For example, when we like to make the basement, it should be should more durable to use it for the wet conditions, so that we prefer the chestnut. Or someone who likes the how can I say, the bold grain with rich colors. Sometimes we use the zerkova. Okay, you can see the zerkovas at the model of the Shihozashi model at the end of the exhibition Kigumi corners. Okay, it's in the different colors and wood grains, and it's very hard and it's very heavy. So the client can express, I'm a rich one. Because it's well, it's very expensive and difficult to how can I say, make and use for the construction. Also any different type of the material, especially for the architectures, already presented at the booth E. I presented 8 different type of the trees already, so that you can see the many varieties of the choice. Okay.
My favorite's hiba.
Wood. Yes, hiba. Yes, it's a kind of I could say it's a kind of the cypress, but then you can feel the strong smell. But still, you can feel the similarities because it's in a type. It's coming from the same species types. But then the hiba is a special trees grown up in only at the northern part of Japan, and the cypress can survive just under the Fukushima prefectures. It's well, middle high middle areas in Japan, so that the northern part of the peoples should choose another material. But then the main character of the Hebrew is very durable for the mainly for the insect, right? So people love so much, but then the tree's life is not so long comparing with the cypress. So it depends. But with my opinions, I do not like to move materials to the another area, but we should get material in the same area. This is my own opinion. Otherwise, we can't expect long life. So that we can't. It means it's not a good idea for sustainability. Also, it's also. I could get these ideas coming from the word of Master Nishioka. Don't buy the tree, buy a mountain from the same area. This is it.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? We do. If you could keep your hand up so we can get a microphone to you, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for a wonderful talk. I think this is quite an easy question to you. I'm wondering how long an apprentice has to train before they can become an independent carpenter or even a master carpenter. And also if it's
carpenter?
Yeah, very difficult. And if it's possible for a woman to become an apprentice as well.
Okay. Well, it depends on the carpenters' families, but we used to say the average of the apprentice system is 7 years old, right? But not so many. But it's just only for the to be an apprentice, and also it depends on the family. But to be a master, or I think it's a common sense for all of the craftsmanship. They need to study for all over their life, right? Some of the craftsmen could be called as a masters in their young ages, but I have I'm thinking that I'm a very happy man because I have a lot of masters, supervisors. That's why I could get such a lot of knowledge about this field. Not only the carpenters, but also the plasterers, the joiners, even in the film. I call them as my masters. But all of them does not think, no, not all, I'm sorry. Many of my masters think that I am already the master. They are thinking that now, we need still continue to learn about that field. It is. The name of the master is not the name of the status, like a sir or something. Okay. I think it's the name to be called from somebody else. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. In fact, one of the carpenters who was here to construct the exhibition, Kunitake Miku, is a woman who's working with Abo Akinori. Yes, a trusted right-hand woman for all of the construction there. We have time maybe for just one more question. Nothing from this side? Just here, yes. If you could keep your hand up so we can get a microphone to you. Thank you.
My question is a follow-up question of the previous one. Do young people want to be apprentices these days? And is Japan, the government, or the prefecture or the region doing something to encourage people to go into carpentry and get all of these techniques from the masters?
Oh, I'm sorry, but first of all, I wanted to say for anybody, no, because then I have a lot of questions just like you. But then first of all, I always advise them learn the Japanese first, because then almost every Japanese craftsman, well, most of them cannot speak any other languages, so that they can't get any communication. Okay, so even they used to say that oh, the learning from the craftsmanship, it's not not only by word, by watch, but then actually the most important things to spend whole of the times with them as their life. So it means they should be a part of the family. Okay, this is I think this is the most difficult thing to be an apprentice in the Japanese craftsmanship. By the way, I have another interest about European educational systems. There are two important educational systems in France and Germany, like the Compagnons and the Meister. They are getting the knowledge by journey, how can I say, continuous journey. It means they have already the system to learn about the craftsmanship, and they do not need to decide to get one master. But within the Japanese system, it's very difficult. The most important things, how to find the suitable master to each of them. Some of the peoples will fail, and it means it's it could be a serious failure. It means they need to give up whole of their life. But with the European systems, they can get more chance to be a craftsman. So that I'm always thinking about what is the most important things, comparing the both of the different systems. Okay, but anyways, well, I always trying to say, do your best. But first of all, please study the Japanese first. I'm sorry. Okay.
Thank you. We featured two young women apprentices in Takayama 2 years ago or so, who were learning carpentry. I think the thing, they stuck at it, it seems, but the thing that was putting them off most was they had to not look at their mobile phones for the whole time they were there. It's quite difficult, yeah, to exist sometimes. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, would you join me in thanking Nishiyama Marcelo? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the wonderful talk and the in-depth and thoughtful answers to all of our questions. Thank you to everybody here in the hall at Japan House, and also to those of you who've been watching online. We have an exhibition, of course. This is open until the 6th July, the Craft of Carpentry, Drawing Life from Japan's Forest. Please do go and have a look. It's also upstairs as well. It's been so beautifully curated by Nishiyama-san. So thank you very much indeed. Once again, Nishiyama Marcelo, thank you.